Are you thinking about selling your house but unsure if it's the right time? Well, if so, you're definitely not alone. Selling is a huge decision and it can feel overwhelming. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Today we're going to discuss 5 clear signs that it might be your time to make the move. Have you ever felt like selling your home but felt stuck about whether it was the right time or not? If so, drop your comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Sign number 1, you've outgrown your home or it's too big. If your house feels too small, maybe your family's grown or you need an additional office space or a bigger yard, it's a sign you might be ready to make a move. Or you just feel cramped, it's a sign you might be ready for something bigger. On the flip side, if you have too much space, maybe your kids have moved out and you're an empty nester now, or the maintenance just feels overwhelming, that's another sign that it might be time to make the move. I've worked with so many clients that didn't realize how much their home really wasn't fitting their current lifestyle until we really started looking at new homes. In fact, I'll give you the perfect example. I have clients right now, they're the nicest couple and they have 2 kids and a dog. They lived in a 2-bedroom condo and they absolutely loved their condo and really didn't think it was necessary to move. But once we started looking at new homes and they found a single family with 3 bedrooms, each of their kids have already picked out their rooms and the house has a big yard for their dog. They're so excited for the new home and really just wish they would have done something sooner. I have clients that closed escrow with me recently and they had a 3,500 square foot home that they had lived in for over 20 years. And so once they did buy a smaller single story, what it did is the move forced them to go through some of the belongings and really downsize and declutter some of the things that they've just kept over all the years. They are so happy they did so and just glad they made the move. Step number 2, and this one's a big one, you're financially ready. You have enough equity in your home to sell and make a large profit. Values have gone up in Las Vegas over the last 10 years, so many homeowners are surprised in exactly how much their equity they have in their home. You're financially prepared for the cost of selling. For example, the closing costs, moving expenses, and you understand what the monthly payment is and can afford it. The key is really getting in with the lender and getting pre-approved for the loan. You've talked to the lender and you're not just pre-qualified, you're pre-approved and really understand what the monthly payment is and how much you can afford. The best way to understand if this makes sense for you is to meet with a real estate agent. I meet with clients, we run the numbers, I give them an idea of what the home would likely sell for, how much they would net, and an idea of days on the market. Then once you talk to the lender, you'll really have a clear picture of how much you'll net, how much you need to buy, and if this makes sense for you. If you sold a home today, would you buy another one right away or take some time to consider options? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Sign number 3, the market's in your favor. If home prices are high and inventory is low, then that's a great time to sell a home. That usually means that demand is high and that homes sell quickly and with less hassle. Interest rates can play a role. Usually if the interest rates are lower, then demand's going to be higher and you'll see more bidding wars and competition for your home. Also, time of year can play an important factor. Spring, usually demand picks up. Winter, demand slows down a little bit. So the time of year can also make a priority on how high demand is and whether it makes sense for you to sell. Right now in Las Vegas, we currently have a 3-month supply of inventory. Now, normally a 6-month supply or less is considered a seller's market. So we're definitely in a seller's market. And in fact, over the last 10 years, we've had somewhere between around a 2 to 4 month supply of inventory. So really, we've been in somewhat of a seller's market for almost over 10 years. That's because we are seeing a lot of demand and buyers move from out of state into Las Vegas. So that means sellers are getting top dollar for their home here. One thing to keep in mind is if you are buying and selling in the same market, it is difficult to try to time the market. What works for us and is helpful for us on the listing side could be make it challenging on the buyer side. If there's high demand, that's great. Your home's going to sell a little faster. That also means more competition on the buying side. If things are sitting, great. You may have a little bit more negotiating power on the buyer side. Again, that's going to make it a little more difficult on the selling side. So if you're buying and selling in the same market, don't worry about timing the market. Figure out what makes sense for your personal situation and timing, and we'll go from there. Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Leslie Carver, your expert guide in all things real estate, especially if you're eyeing Henderson. Here to share tips, insights, and all all the latest updates to help you navigate the real estate market in Las Vegas and Henderson. Don't forget to hit like, smash that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Let's jump back into it. Sign number 4, you're emotionally ready to move on. What this means, maybe you've got a new chapter in your life. Maybe you're retiring or you're relocating for work. You want to move closer to family, or you just need a change. I work with a lot of clients that are older and retiring. In fact, one of my clients right now just sold her home and she's moving back east to be closer to her kids so that she can be around as they raise her grandkids. I have clients that sold the home with me about 6 months ago. They had lived in the same home for 26 years. They raised their kids in the property. They absolutely loved the home and had so many memories. I actually met with them several times over the last couple of years to see if they were ready to move. They wanted to sell, but they just hated to leave that home where they raised their kids. The problem is the home that they were living in was older and there was a lot of maintenance issues. The AC kept going out. They had recently replaced the hot water heater, had roof repairs, and the home really wasn't energy efficient. So their utility bills were $700 a month just for the power bill. We went and looked at new homes and they actually bought new construction. So now they have a new home with new appliances, new AC, and so much more energy efficient. Once they finally did pull the trigger and bought the home, they were thrilled. They had no idea how much the maintenance and remodeling and updating of their home really was dragging them down. It feels so much more freeing for them now. Buying can be an exciting time, so think about the possibilities instead of feeling attached to your current home. Selling a home isn't just a financial decision. It's definitely an emotional decision too, especially if you've lived in the property for a long time or maybe raised your kids there. Once you start seeing your home as a house and not your forever place, that's a big sign you're ready. I have a pop quiz for you. Which of the following is a clear sign you might be ready to move? A, all your friends are moving. B, you're financially prepared to do so. C, you bought the home a year ago and it's already been a year. Or D, you have a really low interest rate on your current property. The first person to correctly answer in the comments below will get a special shout out from me. Can't wait to hear your comments. Sign number 5, your home no longer fits your lifestyle. Maybe your commute's too long, or your neighborhood isn't as convenient as it used to be. Your needs have changed. I'll give you the perfect example. We lived in Southern Highlands for over 13 years, and we raised our kids in the community. In fact, my kids attended Southern Highlands Prep School from preschool clear up to 8th grade. When my oldest was in the 8th grade, we realized we had to really start thinking about where we wanted them to attend high school. We moved our family into Anthem so that our sons could attend Coronado High School. It was so stressful. At the time, I wasn't sure I was really making the right move. Should we let them attend high school where we were currently at? Did we really need to make that move for our kids? And I wasn't even sure they were going to be happy because they might not have as many friends at the new high school. But it really worked out great. It was scary, but my kids met some of their current friends there and really had a terrific experience at the school they were in. Change can be scary, but it's worth it. If your home doesn't match your family's current priorities, that's a huge sign that it's time to move and relocate your family somewhere that better fits their needs. So what if you're not sure? Talk to a real estate agent. Get a free market summary. I meet with friends and clients all the time. We talk about here's what the home would sell for and likely values. Here's what you would net, so you have an idea of, how much money you have to purchase the next home. We also talk about what I currently see happening in the market, days on the market, and kind of list price to sell price. Then once you have that information, talk to a lender. A lender will give you a great idea of here's how much you need for your down payment, here's the closing costs, and here's the monthly payment that you'll have once you find a new property. I have some clients right now, I've actually met with them several times since they've considered selling. They have a 3% interest rate on their current home. So once we looked at the figures and they knew what they were going to net, and they talked to the lender and found out their interest rate would be about double. Instead of 3%, the new home would be closer to 6%. They kind of looked at options and realized they didn't want to move because the home that they would be able to afford wasn't that much bigger than the home they currently have now because of the higher interest rates. So sometimes meeting with your agent and talking to a lender allows you to make an informed decision decision on what makes sense for you. Sometimes you also even need to go and look at homes. I meet with clients who are really informed on what makes sense on the listing side. Here's how much you'll sell for, here's how much you net. But you need to get a good idea of, is there even something out there I'm gonna like? I have clients right now that they're gonna sell the mom's home and move in together with the kids, all three of them. So we went and looked at next gen homes, which kind of gives the mom her own space. They absolutely loved it. Once they got a good idea that there was something out there that made sense for them, then they got excited. They're excited to move. They're excited to have this new property. And so we're listing their home and getting things moving forward. Sometimes just exploring your options first can really give you a better idea if moving makes sense for you or if staying makes more sense. We're here to help. Selling a home's a big decision, but if you're seeing some of these signs, it might just be time to take the leap. And if you're unsure, I'm here to help. Looking for more real estate insights about Las Vegas and Henderson? Please check out one of my other videos popping up on your screen. I appreciate you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next one.